Hello, I've got a little art haul to share with you today. I've got a box from Jackson's, which I can't 100% remember what's in it. I think there were a couple of new products to try out. And then I've been using and talking about wax pastels a little bit recently. So from Curtis Ward, I have got some Sennelier Oil Pastels. So I'll open these up and show you what we've got. So one thing I've got is the Watercolour Catalogue from Jackson's, and I think it's got, if not all, then an awful lot of their watercolour related products, and I just thought that would be really interesting to have a look through. Looks like it's got watercolour pencils in it as well. So yeah, I'm quite excited to have a flick through that. Okay, so I've got a couple more Posca, and it's the PC1 MRs. And these are the fine tip acrylic paint markers, and I love using these just for highlights and things like that. And my last one has just bitten the dust, so a couple of those. I also wanted to try out, this is my first ever Pitt Artist's pen, and this is the white brush, so I'm also curious to try this out. I'll try it on a couple of different surfaces later and show you that. And I've got one Roman Szmal paint. This is Perylene Violet. And then I've got one Jackson's Lemon Yellow, which I'll talk about that later. Oh, okay, I think this is a Derwent Inktense block. I've not used one of these before. I've got a couple of Derwent Inktense paint pans in a little Derwent set, and I've got the Derwent Inktense pencils, but I was just curious about these blocks, so I'll have a play with that in a minute. And then these are replacement paints, so oh, lovely. I've got French Ultramarine. I've tried a few different ultramarines, French ultramarines from different brands, but I really do enjoy this one. And then I've got Pyrrole Scarlet. It's not a colour I use on its own very much, but I just think it's an absolutely beautiful mixing colour. It's just so clear and I really enjoy it. I think it's my favourite red. And yeah, my other one is looking a bit ropey as well. Another couple of things that I've got, I actually got these from Amazon last week, but I haven't had a proper play with these yet, are the Caran d'Ache water brushes. I've got various other water brushes, but I think the thing that intrigued me about these is having a push button to release more water through, and I'll come back to that in a bit and why I wanted to try that out. So I've been enjoying oil pastels, not in any major way, but just for details here and there. And I did an oil pastel picture the other day, but I was quite disappointed with the greens. And I thought I'd like to try out the Sennelier Oil Pastels because they have a good reputation. Sennelier do a few different sets. So we've got portrait, still life, and there is a landscape version. But when I looked at the details of the colours in the landscape set, I still wasn't that happy with the greens. They seemed quite bright. So I did a lot of looking at all the different colours, and I decided that actually I wanted to get the portrait colours because I'm a bit of a sucker for pinks and things. And the still life assortment had some nice greens in, but also some other nice muted colours. And so I decided to buy the other greens I felt were missing open stock. Start off with these. I'll just open them up and have a quick play. The packaging's lovely, nice and sturdy. Okay, let's have a try of them. So they do lay down very smoothly and a lot more easily than my Paul Rubens. I'm only trying these out on just cheap copy of paper at the moment. They lay down on top of each other really, really nicely, from what I can tell. There were one or two duplicate colours between the still life set and the portrait set, but they were colours that I figured I would end up using, like white. So what information is actually on the sticks? Okay, the name's there. And it's got pigment information on each stick, which is good. So I'm just going to see how the white does over a much darker colour. This is sepia. Oh, I think I'm going to enjoy these. I'll just get out my Paul Rubens to show you a bit of a comparison. The Paul Rubens seem a lot stickier, so, and thicker actually. And so when you're using them, you get this kind of, it's not crumble because it's kind of like sticky crumble, but it's still there. And yeah, I just say that the Paul Rubens are kind of thicker and stickier, and it seems like you're going to be more likely to get fingerprint marks and things, and kind of thicker, gloopier bits. Whereas these Senneliers seem just smoother, perhaps thinner lay down. So you can see the Paul Rubens do layer nicely, but they're just a lot thicker. So that's probably not a very good comparison there, but I'll do a more in-depth video on the Sennelier, and I'll swatch out all of the colours that I've got and talk about them a little bit more when I've had a chance to play with them properly. So let's just take a look at the still life set. So yes, sorry, this is the portrait set. Oh, that's a lovely set of kind of natural colours. Olive brown. Okay, they've got a slightly different texture from each other there. Roll number. That's interesting. Those are very different textures from each other. That's very kind of smooth, and this is more like the Paul Rubens stickiness. So it will be interesting to swatch out the whole lot of them. And then the open stock ones, let's have a look. So first of all, I've got quite a few greens. It's the sap green, quite nice. That's another olive, can't read the name on it, or just olive green. Grey green, I really like the look of this one. And then I also like the look of a couple of the blues and turquoises. That's chromium green deep. It's quite turquoise for chromium green. Bright turquoise, because I do like my turquoises as well. And then, oh, I like the look of this charcoal blue. Yeah, that's lovely. Celadon green. More muted turquoise. And then I got this was kind of one of the more speciality ones, which is a transparent blue, so I was just curious about that. So I'm making a right mess here. And then a couple of other colours. Violet Alizarin Lake. I haven't got anything purpley in my other sets, so I thought I should have one maybe. And then Chrome Red. That just appealed to me. Quite excited about those. No doubt they will be featuring in some future videos. So I'll just take a look at some of my other products now. The Daniel Smith Ventral Ultramarine, that's the one that I have in here, which I'll fill up now and that can start drying out. And I don't know what to say about it other than I like it. I like the granulation in it. I like how it mixes. It feels really transparent. And it was one of the first watercolours that I ever got. And so I have tried others in the meantime, but I keep coming back to this one. I can actually fill up my Pyrrole Scarlet a little bit here as well. I just think this Pyrrole Scarlet is so, it's just got such lovely clarity. If we're talking about primaries, then the yellow that I really enjoy is Sennelier's Lemon Yellow. It's a transparent one, but it runs around the pan a lot because I've just got it in tube form. I'm thinking I'll probably get the Sennelier Lemon Yellow in a pan form, but first I just wanted to try out Jackson's Lemon Yellow, because this is another transparent lemon yellow, PY3. I just wanted to see how it compared with the Sennelier Lemon Yellow. This is Sennelier in here. What's left of it after most of it kind of dribbled everywhere. And that's PY3 as well. Let's see how it mixes. Just do the same again with the Sennelier. Oh, I quite like that. I'll have to paint with it a fair bit more, but my first impressions are that it's not a huge amount different from the Sennelier. And I think this pan was about £3. And the other thing I got was the Roman Szmal Perylene Violet, and it's PV29 and transparent. And I should probably pop this in the fridge first. Oh well, we'll go with it. So I'd seen this being used as a shadow colour rather than a brown or grey. And I really liked how it looked, so I thought I'd try one out. Yeah, that's a lovely, delicate colour. Now, the only problem is, which will probably irritate lots of people, is that the only space I've got for it is in my Rosa Gallery tin. Because by some chance, I ended up buying 34 Rosa Gallery paints and then getting a 35 pan palette. So I've left a space in my Rosa Gallery palette. And colour-wise, it kind of fits in there. So I apologise to the people that just think that's really wrong. In fact, let's just swatch it out here. Okay, the next thing to try out is this Derwent Inktense stick. So this is Fern. So that re-wets quite easily. That's quite pleasant to use. What's it like to actually draw with dry? Feels reasonably hard to draw with. And it's not too chalky or loose. You can re-wet it, but I think you're going to end up with a little bit of the texture left behind. And I've got the Fern Inktense pencil here. So it's a pretty good match colour-wise. And it seems a slightly more vibrant colour in the pencil form. I quite like those. They're quite, I don't know, they're just quite pleasing little things. Not that I need a whole set of them, but I was curious to try them out. Okay, just to talk about these Caran d'Ache water brushes next. I had a quick go when I first opened them and stained the nibs. So I've got a large and a medium size. The thing that I wanted to try them out with was with my portable painter. So I do like working quite wet with watercolours, but if I'm wanting to travel really light, I don't necessarily want to be carrying a water bottle with me. And so I wondered if I could use this just as like a kind of a halfway house and actually let some water come out. So I'm squeezing the button there, and then that gives me a significant bit more water to work with, and I can still do quite loose wet painting even with a portable painter and without having to take any water pots or water containers with me. I've got various other water brushes. I've got a Kuretake, and then I think these are the Pentel ones. And I suppose, I suppose I could squeeze them out. Actually, that squeezed out more than I remember it doing, actually. That's the Kuretake one, so let's have a look. So you can squeeze them out with that one. Let's try the Pentel ones. Ooh, that's a large one. And you can squeeze that out, but you're having to bypass all of this kind of like line system. That's okay, well that's interesting to know. You can use all of them in a similar way. I just like the idea of having the push button without using too much force to get the water through. And I was just curious about them. And they're quite different. You've got quite a large reservoir of water here. And you can push it through very easily just by squeezing the kind of plunger. So I'd say you definitely don't need these if you want to work wetter with water brushes. But I'm quite glad I've got them, and it's worth taking a look at them, for me anyway. I was at a craft market on Saturday, and it got quieter towards the end, and I'd taken this sketchbook and my portable painter and one of these Caran d'Ache water brushes, and that was my little sketch that I did. And I was enjoying doing a watery one. So next I'll take a look at these whites. I've tried lots of different whites out over the years, and this Posca is just one that I keep coming back to when others have stopped working or I've just got frustrated with them for different reasons. I've tried the other PC1 pen that's got more of like a felt tip looking nib, but I found that one's spattered a little bit, and I've had better success with this one. It's not totally opaque. You get a tiny bit of black showing through there. But yeah, on the whole, I really like these. I do have a jelly roll, and this is the other one that I occasionally use, but I don't find this as reliable. I find that I can use the Posca on more surfaces without clogging up, and sometimes the jelly roll stops on me. But it is a bit finer. So I was curious about this Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Brush Pen. It's India ink, waterproof, and they're a light fast range. So let's have a look. So that's quite nice. I don't really know what I was expecting, to be honest. It's not quite as opaque as the Posca or Jelly Roll, though it's probably not used in exactly the same things anyway. But let's see how much of a brush pen it is. So it's got nice flexibility in the nib. Okay, well, that's interesting. I've got some colour pencil swatches on the other side of this page to see how it goes over the top. I just like the idea of having more of a brush form for putting little details in, maybe like highlights on the sea or something like that. Whereas the Posca might be a little bit more even lined than the brush. Yeah, see the jelly roll's not enjoying that. Interesting. I'd enjoy having a play with that. Well, I'm afraid this is a very random video, kind of going all over the place, but I thought I'd show you anyway. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Bye!